always that weirdo.
I ain't loud right now though.
Oh yeah,
Probably.
you ever hear it? J-O-Y?
No, it's okay.
You know what that means though?
J-O-Y.
I'm just saying, man, back of your head, just remember when you're coding live, there potentially could be somebody on the other side of it.
Okay.
So don't choke.
That's good. Good to know.
Literally, yeah. Somebody probably is.
Dill? Yeah, I couldn't find it, girl. They hit. Yeah, I couldn't find it, girl. They hit.
Right. What is up? Just ninja launched on myself into the full screen view. What is up though? Here we are. Beautiful, what is it, Wednesday? Wednesday night in Austin. Austin, Texas here is a hot one, but I'm here in Pleb Lab in my little streaming closet. It's kind of quiet around here tonight. I got a few plebs working now, so vibes are good. Vibes are high. Just chugged some cold coffee and I got a fresh topo here, so that's about all I need to get into some coding. But yeah, back into Rust again. Excited for this one. Last week I did this a week ago, I think exactly, on Wednesday, might have been Thursday. I'm gonna do these Wednesday, Thursday, usually, probably. But last week was a little bit of experimentation, seeing what it was like. I didn't know kind of what the first person experience would be like, streaming, trying to learn something, like kind of digging through all these dense notes and contents of the Rust book. But it was good. It was a good experiment. I think I have a way to make it a little bit cleaner this time, especially with the notes. So I'm excited about that. But generally just excited to get back into Rust, to really take the time here to try and learn it. And yeah, I'm trying to think. I believe I could just show you, switch over to my other view here. Cool. Cool, so I think I mentioned this last week, I made this repo here, and this will be kind of where everything's gonna live for me as I'm doing this week by week. And what I updated is kind of the note-taking system here. So we have session 1 and session 2. I basically, I was trying to use this other program and make my notes visual last time. I think it was too much. I just need to be getting bullet points and little code snippets, descriptions, and copying them and making it synchronous as I'm going through the book. So that's kind of this reformatted version. So I captured all of session 1, what we looked at last week in here, which is essentially just Hello World, right? It's a lot of the setup, installing the packages, running your first Hello World Rust program, a little bit of low-level stuff, anatomy of a Rust program, a bit about compiling and running. We get into cargo, we make a cargo project, see what's in it, etc., etc. And so that was most of last week's session. And additionally, I got a little bit into the first part of the guessing game project. I'm gonna go over the notes here for that in a few minutes. Probably we'll do a review before I get into it again, pick up where I was last. But I just went ahead and threw that in a session 2 here because it's chapter 2, and we're mainly just gonna be focusing on the guessing game here today because this is the first real kind of project or whatever that we do in the Rust book. So yeah, there's a lot here. This whole second chapter it's a pretty big jump up. I guess there's probably no other way to do it, but it is a nice little app we're going to be making. I guess there's going to be some number that we're going to choose beforehand, and it's a little command line app for the user to guess it. I had actually done this in the past. I tried to learn Rust about a year and a half ago, something like that, 2021. I wanted to get into Bitcoin development, and I was like, I need to learn Rust. And Rust is very good for Bitcoin development, but I wasn't like, there was stuff I could have built at the time. I'm glad I kind of focused more on like sharpening my current skill set more than pivoting into Rust, but now I feel like I'm in a place where I have my bearings JavaScript, I have my bearings in Python, and working with Bitcoin and Lightning to an extent with those languages, but you got to get to the lower level language. Or at least for me, I knew it was an inevitability. Like, I'm going to get to a lower level language at some point and really work with Bitcoin and Lightning at the lowest level. So that's what this move represents. I don't know how long it's going to take, but I'm excited to just like keep it consistent and step through it, and hopefully produce some notes or some videos that help other people along the way. But I guess with that getting said, like 5 minutes in, I'll probably jump into a review here of last week. Actually, before we do that, I'll show you kind of the new note-taking system I'm using here. If you're into this kind of stuff, it's like Roam. If you've heard of Roam Research, but it's called Foam. And it's essentially like it's open source. It's like a note-taking app that like connects ideas or terms, connects them in a graph. And I like this idea because I'm a bad note taker in general, and mostly what I want for notes is the concepts. I want to be searching for keywords, searching for cargo, searching for macro, searching for these like Rust terms, and to be able to find all these little notes that I've taken on it, and kind of search it, because I'm mainly bad at reviewing my notes, right? I can write a whole block of text, but is it going to be useful for me? Is it going to be useful for other people? I'm always like super skeptical about that. So yeah, I have this here. We can see, let's see, control rich view. Yeah, I can see the rich view here. And what's really cool, this is like set up, the .foam is set up in here to where I can, Shift P, I can run foam show graph and can kind of see my current graph of like these being the keywords that I've tagged so far, and then what page they're associated with. It's pretty simple. It's pretty bare bones right now, but it should be helpful, and hopefully we'll build out a cool graph as I'm taking notes. So last week, last week, besides the basics of getting everything installed, cargo, writing hello world, printing it to the terminal, that was all fun and good, but this is the real first project we're doing, and I basically got this block of code in and working, and the chapter kind of just drops you in and has you writing this pretty quick, and then it goes on to explain it, so we can review where we're currently at. Essentially this is the block of code it had us create, where we're printing a few lines, we're telling the user to guess the number, please input your guess. We're setting aside a variable for it, and then we're reading the input from the terminal. And whatever we read that the user puts in, whatever it is in the world, we're just assigning it to this this guess variable. And then our .expect here, this is kind of a .catch if you're familiar with that in JavaScript. Really, it's just like if there's an error, it will catch it error instead of having our whole program crash, seemingly. And then we print out what we guessed. And this syntax is interesting. This is showing us how you do string interpolation, I guess is the fancy name in JavaScript, really like putting a variable inside of a string. That's what that looks like here. So I have kind of a breakdown that's showing what's happening here. Yeah, we're also using standard IO library. So yeah, this essentially just reads through everything I just described. A few other things in here, we've got the mute keyword. This is telling us that a variable is mutable or not mutable, meaning that we can change it. It's an important concept for memory management. String new, creates a new empty string. I forget what this syntax is called, but I kind of figured, I was looking at this last week and I was like, what does this exactly mean? But I'm realizing, like, just looking at it again, clearly we're digging into a library. I don't know if this is how the double colon is always used, but here it's like, okay, we're grabbing the standard library and we're grabbing the IO package out of it. That's how I see it. Hey, Tidwell here for assistance. No way, that's the legendary Tidwell. I love your presentations. No, what's up, dude? Yeah, learning Rust here. Do you know Rust? All the good Bitcoin developers do. We just proved Rust Hog for Tab. Nice. We're all gonna learn it then. Funny enough, Paul from Mutiny, he did a workshop, like a Rust basics workshop here at Pleb Lab a little while ago. You're making a Rust BTC video game in Wasm. That's awesome. Wasm is so cool. WebAssembly, this is what Mutiny is using. Well, it's been around forever, but it's what Mutiny is using right now to kind of bring Lightning Node in the browser. And this is a cool thing we can do with Rust. And this is where, like, for me, the rubber started to hit the road where I really wanted to learn it, is like, I can make a, super low level hardened like server, Lightning Node, some kind of thing in Rust. And then I can, if I connect it through Wasm, what would you call that? If I bind it to Wasm, I can essentially import it like a package into my JavaScript app or something like this. Mutiny is using Wasm Lite. I'm using hardcore Wasm. Almost no JavaScript at all. That's good, I guess. I love JavaScript. I don't know the difference between Wasm Lite and hardcore Wasm. Feel like pain. Nice. Well, that's why we're here, right? That's why we're here. Cool. Yeah, so guessing game, this is probably where a lot of people drop off on the exact first project, but we're gonna keep on trudging through this. So this is as far as I got last week. I broke it down though. I feel like I'm understanding this so far. Let's run it again and then we'll continue from here. So need to be sure to go to the right directory and we'll do cargo run. And these cargo commands, they're in the session 1 notes still. But yeah, I could try and build this if I wanted to, but run will build it and run it kind of in sequence. So let's do it. It's creating my target. So it's building it fully. Okay, guess the number. Please input your guess. I'm gonna guess 69. You guessed 69. Cool. Well, that's a good program. Okay, but obviously we need to do more than this. So let's get into it. All right, so we got through all of this, producing a guess. explaining all of this code. It explains it ad nauseum. Here it's telling us about variables and about the mute keyword. We learned about this, whether a variable is able to be changed or not. Receiving user input with the standard, the IO library standard input method. Do we call it methods in Rust? I'll find out. Yep, went through this. .expect, this catches our errors. We could have written the line like this, but it's ugly. I get that. Yeah, this is where I started to. This is where I stopped the last session, because it starts to allude to a number of things here. So let's dig into this. So we talk about it's often wise to introduce a new line, otherwise space to help break up when you call a method. Read line puts whatever the user enters into the string we pass it to, but also returns a result value. Result is an enumeration, often called an enum, which is a type that can be in one of multiple possible states. We call each possible state a variant. Okay, yeah, this is definitely where I stopped last week, because I made the mistake of following this link and starting to read about enums. But we're just gonna take what it's telling us here at face value. But I'm still gonna make a note about this. Results variants are okay in error. The okay variant indicates the operation is successful. Okay, cool. I'm gonna copy all of this and I'm gonna have ChatGPT look into this for me. Yeah, so this is kind of my prompt that I'm just rewriting again and again. Hey Tidwell, you need a volunteer for tab. Look at this, you're getting inbound in my stream, Tidwell. You come here more often. Yeah, I'm going to tab. I want to volunteer. I don't know. Maybe I'll submit a workshop or something like that as well. Okay, did I send this? Save and submit. Okay. So we're gonna have ChatGPT kind of summarize this piece about enums and the expect method and our different result types. Not sure if we have a volunteer sign up form right now. One thing that'd be very helpful is going through the GitHub issue, thumbs upping or chatting. We are community curating. Yep, tab is awesome for that reason. I don't know if y'all did this last year. I wasn't on the inside yet, but it's been cool to see like all the developments. Like we've got the hackathon here. This is what I have highlighted, and we've been like planning all of this inside the repo. No, it's okay. I get distracted. I love getting distracted. But yeah, tab is awesome. I'm stoked there's gonna be a Rust workshop. Okay, so what's ChatGPT gonna tell us? So summarized version, turning a result value. Results in enum. Result states can be okay or error. Okay, it's obvious what these means. Result types encode error handling information. Result values have methods like expect. Okay. Oh, expect will crash my program. I had that wrong. Also, if you want me to explain anything complicated, I'm here to help. Thank you. There was something last week. I was looking into. I guess it wasn't enums. This kind of makes sense to me so far, though. There is something similar like this in JavaScript. It's not as strict, but like where you can have a like an asynchronous function that fires, and you'll end up with a .then or a .catch. And it's like kind of like the .then is like our success, it's our okay result. The .catch is our error result. And we can do things with that. So this seems similar. I'm going to go ahead and copy this over though. In my notes. Session 2. What is this? What are we going to call this section? Nums. Result types. Expect .unwrap is for prototyping, not for production code. That's good to know. Really? Not for... I see Ben Carmen using .unwrap all the time. I thought he only writes production code. Let's format all this. Okay, thank you, ChatGPT. Because hackers gonna hack. That's fair. Oh, unwrap. I don't know what unwrap means yet, but I can already kind of see how that could be a vulnerability for some reason. Okay, cool. Unwrap means fuck it. Nice. I like that. Okay. So it's telling us result that must be used. It's telling us what kind of error we would get here if we didn't handle the result. Yeah, this is. I'm seeing definitely a new parallel between this and JavaScript, where like this dot read line. I guess maybe this is wrong, but I almost want to think about it as like an asynchronous function where. Like in JavaScript, or like an asynchronous function, I don't know when the user is going to put in their info and send it for me to read. So I'm kind of waiting on it. And in the process of waiting, I need to be expecting some kind of results. Async is a keyword for async. I don't know what that means yet. Asynchronous. But yeah, that's what this reminds me of right now. So I'm gonna chunk it as that. So if you don't see it, then likely everything is sync. Okay. That's good. Is there an async? Rust async. I like the async keyword. Rust async await. Cool. That is that's a paradigm I'm used to. Right. So we got through that. They had a big block of text. This didn't need to be so complicated, but that's okay. We know that whatever, we got this function here, and it's gonna have a result type, and we have to handle that. Async function is where you'll see it followed by await within the function body. Okay, that's good to know. So we are sync. I guess I was like misexplaining asynchronous. Like we are synchronous in the sense that like we're not moving on. We're not moving to the next line until there is some result from our dot read line. Versus like asynchronous would mean like we could keep on going on a different thread or something like that. Okay. So results. Print line, placeholders. We kind of looked into this, except it tells us think of as little crab pinchers that hold a value in place. Well, that's a nice analogy. Is this different? This looks different than the line I have in here. No, it's not. Okay. I mean, it seems simple enough though. We just got to wrap it in curly braces, and you can put a variable in the print line macro. I guess that's simple enough. Printing the result. So we can print multiple ones. X equals X, Y equals, and Y plus 2 equals. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, this is. I'm not going to put a note about this. This is something can always look up easily. So testing the first part, we did test the first part. It's printing our number. So generating a secret number. Okay. Looks like we're about to use a crate finally. So next we generate the secret number. The user will try and guess. Should be different every time. So the game is fun to play more than once. I don't know if that'll help, but Rust doesn't yet include random number functionality in its standard library. However, the Rust team does provide a rand crate with said functionality. Okay. Using crate to get more functionality. The project we've been building is a binary crate which is executable. The rand crate is a library crate which contains code that is intended to be used in other programs and can't be executed on its own. Yeah, okay, so this goes into what we learned about Cargo last week. I mean, you know, it compiles our project, but it also is like our package manager. It also manages our libraries, so it's kind of simple enough. So let's add the rand library here into our cargo.toml. Their dependencies here. The cargo toml, everything that follows a header is part of that section that continues until another section starts. Okay, that's obvious enough. In this case, we specify a rand crate with a semantic version, blah, blah, blah. Cargo considers these versions to have public APIs compatible with version 0.85. Okay, that seems sticky, but we'll run into any version issues later. Now, without changing any code, let's build the project. Okay, well, let's run cargo build. Cargo build, updating our crates, fetching our new library. I'm gonna give this to ChatGPT. Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna say adding crates. Okay, I need to remember for these new keywords, I want to add a hashtag between them so they get added. Enum, this is another new one. Okay. Cool, some stuff built. Looks like there are dependencies within this dependency, which is normal. Okay. Go back to our notes here. Ugh, what is this? Oh, okay. Gave me what I wanted to in cargo and markdown format. So the version specifier is shorthand for greater than 0.85, meaning any version greater than or equal to 0.85, but less than 0.9, okay? Which these versions is compatible with pitches the latest patch, versions of code. Okay, so yeah, we're kind of just locking in a version here that we know none of the methods are going to change. We build it. Not only the explicitly listed crates like Rand is downloaded, but also the other crates that Rand depends on. We did see that. After downloading, compiling, Wrestling compiles a project. Cool. Onward. All right. Ensuring reproducible builds of the cargo.log. Get the latest patch. So specifying 0.3 would allow you to pick 0.3x. Okay, that's good to know. That's good to know. Sweet, that is good to know. Cool. I almost never specify the patch version so I can pick up non-breaking updates. Okay. That is good to know. This is stuff you can only hear from the real rustaceans, or crustaceans, whatever they call you. I almost specify. So reproducible builds with cargo.log file. This is the next section. Why are we talking about reproducible builds in the second chapter? I don't know, but let's do it. So it has a mechanism to ensure you can rebuild the same artifact every time you or anyone builds your code. Cargo will only use the versions of the dependencies you specified until you indicate otherwise. That seems obvious. This is what our cargo.lock is doing. It's locking in the exact versions. We see this in JavaScript with package.lock or yarn.lock. For example, say next week, new version of Rand comes out, contains a bug fix. Which creates cargo.log file for the first time you run. So now we have this in the guessing game directly. I see, so yeah, once again, just like JavaScript, like if I am gonna update my packages, cargo.log should be automatically updated whenever I run cargo build again. You build for the first time. Cargo figures out all the versions. Writes them in cargo.lock. When you build projects in the future, it'll use the log file. Yeah, I mean, this is pretty obvious to me. I'll put it in here though. Get a quick 2 bullet points for this. Okay, updating crate to get a new version. Cargo update. Okay. So cargo will let you update, but it won't break it, looks like. Okay. Oh, why are you worrying me with this in the second chapter? This must be important. Okay. So what are we saying about this? Ensuring reproducible builds. Right. I think I spelled that wrong. Updating and create. Okay, generating a random number. Back to the actual code. So we have our rand crate now, so we can import it, and it looks like we're going to get an RNG method or something like that out of it. So let's copy this. Put this in here. So. Do I have Rust Analyzer installed? No! I forgot, this was something I was actually going to do. Is add extensions. I don't think I have any Rust extensions right now. I don't. Rust Analyzer. Crates and Rust Analyzer. Okay. Okay, cool. Language support. Crates. Even better, Toml. Tamil language support extension. Try to support all the Tamil versions. Okay. Oh, why do I have? I have a get ignore here. I guess I need to add it into guessing game as well. Copy. Paste. There we go. Okay. Extensions. Go back to my installed extensions. So, got crates, even better Tamil, and Rust. Rust analyzer. There we go. Here we are. Okay, and it's telling us something. Telling us we're not using it yet. Sweet. That'll be helpful. Ooh, this turned white too. We've got a... Oh, it is showing... I need to zoom in. I need a plus on that. It's showing us the types here. That's very interesting. I've never seen this kind of syntax before, but that is cool. So it's showing us that like the output from .readline here is going to be a result. The result type, either error. I don't know what U size is yet, but cool. That is nice. All right. So we import our RAND library now. And we got this RNG method. If a type can't be inferred, it must be specified. Otherwise, Rust will figure out what you want to do, like Python. Okay. If a type can't be inferred, it must be specified. Okay, okay, that makes sense. So RNG trait. This is the first time I'm seeing this keyword. The RNG trait defines methods that random number generators implement, and this trait must be in scope for us to use those methods. Chapter 10 will cover traits in detail. Let A in string equals hello world isn't necessary. Okay, I see. Okay. So it's inferring the type here where I could... I guess I did explicitly put it originally, but I can't just do this. I see. That's cool. If you don't see inferred a lot of times, it means you messed up, but not always. I'm gonna put something about Rust Analyzer in here. It's more useful than half this shit. Rust Analyzer. So what type of random things? Things which helps. Cool. Cool, whatever thing, and you can see the type of it. Okay. Rust will for types. Otherwise they're type. Infer types when it can. What's up, Veronica? I am learning Rust here on the second chapter of the Rust book. Just going through it step by step. Cool. Okay. So rand is a crate. We know that it's a package we're bringing in. And we've got RNG. RNG is a trait. We don't really know what that means yet, but a trait defines methods. So I guess that's kind of a good enough description for right now. So next we're adding 2 lines in the middle. First line, call it rand thread RNG function that gives us the particular random number generator. We're going to use one that is local to the current thread of execution and is seeded by the operating system. Okay. Then we call genRange method on the random number generator. It's defined by the RNG trait that we brought into scope. The genRange method takes a range expression as an argument, generates a random number in the range. Okay. Show me the code. You just explained the code. Just explained the code, but we haven't had. Oh, here it is. Okay. Let secret number equals rand thread RNG dot genRange. Interesting. This is a funny syntax. Okay, I see Rust Analyzer is inferring our type as a integer 32 byte. Okay, so we're calling a method on a method. That is one reason why this is a little weird. And then this range 1 dot dot equals 100. I can deal with that. Okay. Note, you don't just know which traits to use and which methods and functions to call from a crate. So each crate has documentation with instructions for using it. Another neat feature, cargo is that cargo doc open command will build documentation provided by all your dependency locally and open it in your browser. That is really cool. I'm just gonna Google it still though, but it's cool I can do that. Or really, I'm gonna ask Sam Altman what the answer is. Okay. Secret number. Be able to test it. Be able to delete it from the final version. Oh, I see. So we're going to print out the secret number just to see that it's random each time. That's cool. Let's run it. Cargo run. The secret number is 45. I'm going to guess 69. You guess 69. Okay, that's cool. Well, we're getting our secret number. Let's see if it's different. It's 4. Now it's 30. Now it's 43. Cool, that's random enough. Almost always just use docs.rs instead. When you do the -- open, I think it just pulls from here. Okay. Cool. That makes sense. There's something in Python too that lets you like generate docs off of like a package. Sounded similar. Okay, I want to capture this. Yes. I'm gonna grab this. Actually, just grab this. Maybe the docs are generated locally, actually, now that I think about it. man. Who wants to read docs anyway? I just want like a YouTube video. No, but that's good to know. This was actually another thing that like when I was learning Rust trying and failing to learn Rust last year. Docs. Like the docs were so gross. Ooh, is this really in light mode? Ugh. Let's just look at like Rust ran crate. You're telling me to go to docs.rs. I'm just gonna go there. Oh, this was it. Yes, this is what I remember seeing before. And yeah, not the prettiest docs. Not the prettiest here. Oops. Well, anyway, we'll get into docs later. Okay. Get range. Okay. I told it to add these hashtags, and now it's doing it terribly. Generate call. Range. Okay. One way to understand how docs work is creating your own crate, trying to make good docs. Then you can really learn to make them useful. But better than nothing for lazy devs. You even include pictures and stuff in the docs along with examples. Yeah, that is cool. I have seen that like on people's GitHubs. But no, that's a good point. This is something I like to make README walkthroughs a lot. Like I make walkthroughs for a lot of my projects, and I like to make them simple and add pictures because that's what I like. But yeah, I mean, it's nice to have docs at all. Okay. Onward. Yep, so it's showing us our secret guest. Good job. Okay. Getting close to the end here. So comparing the guess to the secret number. Snip. Cool. Match. I've seen this keyword. I think I remember this. So next we're going to be bringing in CMP/ordering from the standard library. Guest.cmp. We had another use statement, bringing a type. So this is just a type into scope. It is another enum and has variance less, greater, and equal. These are the three outcomes that are possible when you compare two values. Okay. Then we add 5 new lines at the bottom using ordering type. Let's get to this in a second. And we need use standard, what was that, CMP ordering, semicolon. And secret number. Okay, mismatch. That's nice. It's telling me at least. So let's see if we can read this. Mismatch types, expected reference, string, found a reference, integer of 32. Okay. So do I need to convert it first? I'll see if the docs tell me what to do here first. Okay, back into here. I can kind of like sort of tell what's happening here. I mean, at least here, like we're doing a match. Secret number. Actually, we're not matching anything right now. We're just looking at the secret number, seeing if it's less or greater than what. So yeah, let's read. We need to read. Compares two values, can be called on anything that can be compared, takes a reference to whatever you want to compare with. Here it's comparing guess to secret number. Where's guess? Oh, guess.cmp. So CMP is compare. And then we're passing in secret number as a reference. Okay, I guess that's what the and keyword possibly means. Match expression is made up of arms. An arm consists of a pattern to match against, and the code that should be run if the value given to match fits the arm's pattern. Okay, so kind of like this seems like a switch statement, sort of, in JavaScript. Patterns in the match construct are powerful REST features. They express a variety of situations. Okay, cool. Well, seems like an if-else type of well, really a switch statement. Okay, walking through hypothetical scenario. Say the user's guessed 50 and the secret number is 38. Compares 50, 38. CMP method will return ordering greater because 50 is greater than 38. Which does not match or integrate. Associate code. Okay, this is kind of obvious. Match is cool because it forces you to catch every possible option for the value being matched on. Okay. Is there like a default? Because like if I'm doing a switch statement, like switch statement, JavaScript, I have the option of like, okay, I'm gonna look. No, Rust doesn't like that. See, I can do default here though. I should be able to do it in Rust. It's a catch-all underscore. Oh. Okay. Sweet, there's default. Yeah, that's what I thought it was. Right. Wait, where was I? Oh, it's telling me about the error I'm already getting. Okay, let's just go up to here. The cool part, try using the underscore for various things like enums or integers, and you'll be forced not to forget to catch the other possible values. Is that like will the compiler yell at you for that? Okay. That's the cool, is that the cool part? No, that is cool. It is not like, it is nice to know that like when you compile, you're probably good. Unless you put a ton of unwraps or expects no code. Rust. I know what .expect does now. Option unwrap. That we can induce program failure at will. Oh, okay. Unwrap is used here to handle the errors quickly. Can be used on any function that returns a result or option. Okay. Okay. It's good to know. I will learn to not rely on .unwrap, .expect. Okay, match. So. Match, and then we'll kind of take these and describe what's happening here. Another really important thing that I shouldn't know because I'm a pleb dev, but I do know for some reason that they're not explaining here is passing by reference. That's a whole can of worms. I'm guessing that's what this and keyword means. Let's see, Rust. And what do you call that? Operator? No, it's not an operator. It's ampersand stars. Represent references. And they allow you to refer to some value without taking ownership of it. Yeah. Means dereference. Okay. So we're taking a reference of this variable that, from my understanding, that means we're essentially copying it to a new place in memory. Only to use it for this thread, this function, whatever, and then we're gonna throw it away. That's my understanding of like passing by reference. I don't think you copy it to a new place in memory. You still have the same memory. Why would we pass by reference then? Must be a reason. There's probably implications if I just pass the value. Implications I might not want to deal with. If you have no intention to take ownership. Okay, ownership. So, and this is yet an idea we haven't run into yet, but I remember running into this like over a year ago when I was trying to learn Rust. Not running into this, but learning about how Rust deals with memory management essentially through ownership. Okay. So if you send a string to the function, that function now owns a string. Cool. That's good. That's better than ChatGPT. That's the kind of answers that I want out of ChatGPT that it just doesn't give me sometimes. Okay, that makes sense. It will just know what the value is. I see. It doesn't necessarily know where it is in memory. It won't know what type it is. Okay. That makes sense. It will know where it is in memory. Oh, I guess because that's how it grabs the value. But I won't be able to manipulate it. Okay. When do we learn about ownership? Chapter 4. That's cool. Unless it's a mutable reference, this is kind of out of my expertise. Sometimes I just clone shit when stuff gets confusing. Yeah. Yeah, that was my next question, is like, well, I can't change it if it's a reference, but what if it's mutable reference? When in doubt, clone it out. Here we go. Yeah, just clone it out and go raise money, and then we'll let the junior devs fix all the memory leaks. Like the default behavior in most languages. I see. Yep, what is up? Doing Rust on chapter 2. If you're late, don't worry, this will be recorded to YouTube and stuff, and I'll be posting my notes, taking much easier to read notes, I think, this time. Okay, so we just learned about match. Optimizing references sometimes is almost little to no gain in performance. So for readability and understandability, a lot of times it's easier to clone stuff. Okay. That is interesting. It's kind of a bad incentive. Or maybe not a bad incentive, but I'm not super incentivized to like, make all of my memory usage as clean as possible. Yeah, people say things. People say things, but they don't stick to them. People told me for years JavaScript sucks, but the world is still getting built on it. It's balance between productivity and best practice. Yeah, exactly. Okay. So it gave me this code. We talked about what match was, and now it won't compile. It's giving me this error. I guess I can try and run it. See what it says. This is a pretty easy first error for us to run into in Rust, I think. It's just a type mismatch. So let's see what we're supposed to do. The core of the error states there's mismatched types. Rust has a strong static type system. Boy, do I know it. However, it also has type inference. Inference, I hear this word a lot. I don't always know what it means. When we wrote let mute guess equals string new, Rust was able to infer that guess should be a string. Okay, this is what we were talking about with Rust Analyzer earlier. And it didn't make us write the type. The secret number, on the other hand, is a number type. A few of Rust's number types can have a value between 1 and 100. Integer 32, a 32-bit number. Unsigned 32-bit number. I64, 64-bit number, as well as others. Unless otherwise specify, Rust defaults to an integer 32-bit, which is the type of secret number, unless you add type information elsewhere that would cause Rust to infer a different numerical type. The reason for the error is Rust cannot compare a string and a number type. Ultimately, we want to convert the string the program reads as input into a real number type, so we can compare it numerically to the secret number. We do so by adding this line. Okay. So changing things up a little bit means the compiler guesses what type your variable is. Yep. So if you do like let x equal 6, it will guess that x is a U32. Yeah, that makes sense. If it has to guess, it will say unknown in the Rust Analyzer. Huh, okay. So if it does have to guess, I'll at least know beforehand. Okay. So we're updating our guess here. This is after we read it. So we first define guess, it's a string. We take it as a string, but then because it's mutable, we're able to redefine it as an unsigned 32 and then do some stuff to it. I still don't know what unsigned means, but I know it stands for unsigned, but that's cool. Let's get this in place. Right here. Okay, our error goes away, but we have a new one. Mismatch type, expected reference U32, found reference I32. Secret number, because our secret number is an I32. Means it's a positive number. Unsigned means it's positive. Okay. Means no extra bit is used to determine if it's positive or negative. That's why integer 32 max number is 2.1 million. No extra bit. It's positive or negative. Okay. Unsigned 32 goes all the way to 4.2 billion, not a million. Okay, that makes sense. So it's just how we're flipping the bytes. We're just pre-deciding how we're going to flip the bytes depending on what our number's going to do. And we can't go negative. It needs to be a signed integer, go negative. Okay. Okay, so we create a variable named guess. The program already has this variable. Yes, it does, but luckily it allows us to shadow the previous value of guess with a new one. Shadowing lets us reuse the guess variable name rather than forcing us to create two unique variables. For now, just know this feature is often used when you want to convert a value from one type to another type. We bind this new variable to the expression guess.trim.parse. The guess refers to the original variable. Trim will eliminate any white space. Okay, so some string formatting here. The beginning and the end, which we must be able to we must do to be able to compare it. The user types 5, sparse enter. Looks like this. The dash in represents new line. The trim method eliminates new line or dash r dash in. Okay, resulting in just 5. That's good to know. Parse method on strings converts a string to another type. Okay. Okay. It's saying let's run the program now, but it is still showing me that there's a type error here. Unsigned I32. Shouldn't I be able to just like make this an I32 as well? Because this definitely isn't going to be more than 1 million. In fact, I know it's a range of 1 to 100. That's weird. Is that a bug in the docs here? Because it had me earlier. Where did it have me update my type? 32. Okay, well, whatever. Okay, so we were looking at trim and parse. Repeat question. Well, it seemed like I was following this exactly, and it had me create this guess as an unsigned 32 to be able to match with my secret number that had me create before. So it's like the docs were giving me mismatching types, but also like, why would I need an unsigned 32 by for my guess if, oh, because the user might put in something above 2.1 million? I don't know. Rust is base, but you're going to be fighting the compiler a lot. Yeah, that's fine. You want to make sure the user specifies a proper positive number, so you don't accept negative guesses. So that's why I'm making it unsigned. Okay. It protects me. It loves me. Rust already? Okay. That makes sense. Why did it have me the secret number? Is it it's inferring the type. Okay. It never had me put a type in here. It's inferring that it's I32. But I can manually make an unsigned 32 byte. There we go. Okay. When it fights you, just know it's out of love. That's good. Never hard code types unless you really want to for readability / polishing, or if you need to. Interesting. So I should lean on its inference until I know better, which is not very often. lean on inferring 100%. Okay, good to know. Okay, where were we in the notes? Match. Shadowing. Hashtag for this, so we can find it later. Even when you see unknown a lot of times, your later usage of it will help infer for you. Wow. Okay. That is interesting, because I guess I have kind of misconception I've had is that everything with Rust, is predefined. Like all your types are predefined, but only if you need to. Only if I'm interfacing something that does have strict types. That's good to know. That's kind of a relief. I don't like typing. I don't even like TypeScript. Okay. Let's say shadow. So this is our new line. Put this in here. Types are inferred really well typically. LOL, ironically, JS devs love TypeScript because of the typing. Helps catch tons of bugs at build time instead of runtime. I like runtime bugs. I prefer that to typing. But yeah, I don't know. It's also like there's a certain TypeScript can go really deep. There's a certain amount of typing that's too much in TypeScript, and I see it all the time. SREs don't. That's okay, that's their problem. I'm here to ship bad code. Typing equals predictability. Yeah. That is true. It's very rare though that the first run of when I'm building something, I've thought about it enough to have pre-typed it or something like that. Which is cool. That's cool for my Rust workflow, knowing that now that inferring is something that I can pretty much lean on for most of the time. Okay. Python proof of concept, Rust prod. That's a pretty cool workflow. That makes sense. I think Rust functions force you to define the output. No, isn't it like func params output type? Yeah, that is something I've thought about too. We haven't really gone and made any functions yet. But of course, the inference can probably work on functions too. If I'm passing in two numbers into a function, it might just infer, or two, unsigned 32-bit numbers. It might infer that the output is going to be an unsigned 32-bit. No, you must specify type for function params. Okay, that's good to know. That's fine. Okay, so let me get some notes on trim and then on parse. Yeah. Alright, later to dwell. Thanks for dropping in, dude. So yeah, you gotta do typing. Yep, that's okay. I like typing for like functions, stuff like that. Lends itself well to functional programming style. One input, one output. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so trim. I'm actually gonna copy. Have it taken both of this. Love functional. Win Haskell book. I don't know. What can I build with Haskell? Why should I learn it? That's my thing. I'm such a pragmatist. Like, if I can build everything in the world with JavaScript, I would just do it, or Python. But it's not that simple. You can work on Haskell pilling me though. I'm open. Okay, so talk about guess. We talk about trim, parse, type annotation. Okay, I'm gonna copy that first part of this. Dot trim dot parse. Number will return result type. Okay, these are pretty good notes. Cool. You pretty much can though, LOL. You shouldn't build everything with JS, but people are doing it. Yeah, that is fair. Probably not low-level stuff. That's about it. I'm sure there's a JS library for low-level JS though. Yeah, Node.js. Seemingly, you could do anything. Anything you can do in Rust, you can do it insecurely in JavaScript. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting though. Like JavaScript is the realization for me that so much of what wins is like about developer experience and about like shipping a language and a set of packages that people stick to. They feel good enough about it. They get used to it, and then the ecosystem just bloats. But it can be so bad. I had an error. I think it was last night. I was streaming and I was coding, and I got an error where I was checking an array, doing some check on an array, and it kept saying that the array was like populated, but I knew it wasn't. And I looked at it and I realized that it was an array full of undefines. And like somehow my code was producing this. And I was like, that's just a little taste of the terrible things that JS lets you get away with. If you want to get Haskell pilled, check out PureScript. So I made JavaScript into Haskell. Okay, you got me there. I'll pull up a tab on that for later. Okay, so trim and parse, type annotation. Type annotation. That's how you spell it. How's our notes? Okay, pretty long, not horribly long. And then I can check out our graph. Not much connections yet, but we'll see. I'm hoping me putting all these concepts in place right now with like these hashtags will be helpful, so I'm referring back to them. Because that's definitely, like, last time I was trying to learn Rust, this is where I really got screwed. I just, like, I don't know, forgot everything at some point in the middle of it. Kind of fire hose issue, I guess. Okay. So... where are we at? We're pretty close here. We're pretty close. So I think we're ready. Did I fix my error before? I did. So we should be ready to run again. Am I going to push my notes to GitHub? Yes, I am. And I have this, where is it? This repo here, I'm going to be updating it every week, and so there's just like the session 1, session 2 dot markdown. So hopefully, I mean, I think these are pretty simple, pretty nice and simple so far. Like, how do I, let's see, oh yeah. You know, there's code snippets. I try and make everything bullet points, try and make everything as actionable as possible. I'm a slow reader as you can tell. Okay. So, oh yeah, we're gonna run it again. Secret number is 18. Well, let's guess 16. You guess 16, too small. Okay. What does it say if I guess 18 at this point right now? Or 68. You win. Okay. It's kind of working, almost. Oops. Okay, allowing multiple guesses with looping. So loop keyword creates an infinite loop. We'll add a loop to give users more chances of guessing the number. Forgot to update this. Sure to indent these lines. Program will now ask for another guess forever, which actually introduces a new problem, and it doesn't seem like the user can quit. The user could always interrupt the program. There's another way to escape this insatiable monster. Okay. Let's add this loop. Set the step where we input our guess. Looping through all of this. Save. Okay, now it'll indent it for me. So we're looping through. Insatiable monsters. Mentioned in the parse discussion. If the user enters a non-number answer, the program will crash. Okay. So I can crash it by, you know, saying anything. Hey. Sweet. Yeah, because it's trying to take my guess. Well, it is casting my guess into a string, but then it's shadowing it into an unsigned 32. So I guess that's where we fail. Okay, so we got this in the loop. Typing quit will quit the game, but as you'll notice, so we'll entering any other non-number input. This is suboptimal, to say the least. We want the game to also stop when the correct number is guessed. Okay, so quitting after a correct guess. If ordering is equal, you win and break. That's easy enough. You can break out of the loop. You fail because guess is being assigned a string when it takes an unsigned 32. Yeah, exactly. This break. I'm putting this in curly brackets, maybe. Oops. Semicolon. There we go. Okay. I'm gonna do this from now on. I just like start out with a prompt and just rewriting it again and again to have it produce my notes here. Okay, type annotation. Loop. Get rid of these hashtags because it's gonna get put my notes rust in rust. Okay. So looping, quitting after a correct guess. I feel like this is intuitive enough. I'm not even going to leave any more notes about that. Breaking out of the loop. Okay, handling invalid input. I think this should be the last section, basically. Rather than crashing the program when the user inputs a non-number, let's make the game ignore non-numbers so the user can continue guessing. So we're going to alter guess again. Interesting. Okay. So we're using the match keyword here. We're trimming the string. Okay, if num is an unsigned 32, and we'll return the number. An error, thanks to Tidwell, I know what this underscore means. Error, we've got this underscore catch-all, so for any other situation, okay, so that's our catch-all. We're basically matching one condition here. The number is an unsigned 32, and we return it. Otherwise, we catch all for any other scenario, and we just continue the execution. That's simple enough. Okay. We switch from expect to match. Blah blah. I'm back to Hangout and I rusted up. What's up? Something you just told me came in handy. I knew that this was a catch-all, so I was able to read these two lines right up. So I'm basically a Rust expert already. So now instead of expecting, we got rid of our nasty expect and we're matching matching on this one condition. Oh, it's interesting. The type inference isn't in here, but it is in here. It made it a lot easier for me to understand. We parse our string. If it's an unsigned 32, we pass it back. Otherwise, we catch all and continue. So that isn't really a catch-all. That just means you aren't going to use the error. Oh, man. What? If parse is not able to turn the string into a number, it will return an error value that contains more information about the error. The error value does not match the OK num. Pattern is the first match arm. But it does match the error pattern in the second arm. I see. Okay. So this is more about my, what do we call them? Return types. Return. Result types. That's what I was thinking of. But if you don't use E, then you should do underscore. If you do E instead of underscore, then Rust Analyzer will suggest you convert it to underscore. Okay. You do discard the error. Okay, I see. So I'm just ignoring it, so it's an error result that I could do something with, but I'm gonna do nothing with it. I'm gonna continue. You should try making it E. We can use it. Okay. Let's do it. Cannot find guess in the scope. That's interesting. Print line, E, continue. Okay. Where did I put this? After okay. And then I do print line. Error E, and then continue. need curly boys. End of statement. Where am I calling? Do a semicolon. There we go. All right, let's see this bad boy. So if I guess, whoa, 100, that's lucky. There's a 1 in 100 chance of that. Big coin. Error, invalid digit, found in string. Cool. But it keeps me in the loop. So keep guessing. Did I win? No, I can't. Okay. Okay, we finished this part. Let me. You don't think I need a semicolon after continue? Can you try without? Oh, adds it back in. Guess I do. Rust analyzer magic. Yep. The real black magic is the fact that JavaScript does technically enforce semicolons at like the end of your statements, but nobody in the world uses it because why not? Like there's some abstraction that like takes care of it automatically. So this is like something I learned when I was first learning JavaScript. They're like, remember, you need a semicolon for it to be a valid statement, but also in React or in any framework you use or in any code editor you use, it will never ever enforce it. So that's kind of a funny thing. Hey, easy now. Easy now. We like JS in here. The semicolon, I think, is special for the continue because it's technically not a return type. Yeah, I don't know. What are we doing here? Matching our guess input. Newest code block here. That's a better title. Versus, okay, the semicolon I think is special for continue because it's technically a return type, versus if it was another number, you shouldn't need a semicolon. Non-semicolon things at the end of functions or matches are returned. Such a shorthand for return something. Okay. The end of a match arm. Or function, if you do return some var, it is the same as just doing some var at the end. Okay, that's cool. Are you learning Rust to work on a particular project, or you just want to learn it because every Bitcoin project is FOMOing into it? I mean, I could give you a good answer, but it's kind of the FOMOing. No, not really. Honestly, it's been LDK for me for a long time. Like, I remember when LDK was announced in like 2019, I was like the shittiest JavaScript dev you ever knew, and I was like, oh, Lightning development kit, I'm gonna be able to develop on Lightning. And of course they were just announcing at the time. I had no idea it was gonna be this like, you know, Rust project. It's essentially, it's, you know, not even its own implementation of Lightning, but a library that helps you build an implementation. So it was very low level. I was excited about it. I kept up with it. I kept up with Spiral and all of that. And I just haven't ever been able to work with it. And then recently when I saw the Mutiny boys doing their thing, it's like an SDK for Lightning, right? Yeah, it is both an SDK for Lightning, but it's like an SDK for reinventing Lightning, or not reinventing it, for like building your own implementation completely from scratch. So it's like, forget LDK, or forget like core Lightning, forget LND. Like with LDK, you're kind of building like a non-consensus implementation of Lightning that can or cannot be interoperable with the other implementations of Lightning. And this is sort of what Mutiny is. And Mutiny has been the latest project to kind of like inspire me and push me into it, because they're built on LDK. So yeah, mainly LDK, Mutiny, and kind of just, you know, the right timing. Built enough projects in the stack that I've known, which has been JavaScript and Python. I feel like I've gotten far enough with that, so it's time to learn the next thing. Yeah, I'll see how long it takes. I'll keep showing up here every week, but we'll see how long it takes before I'm like actually writing anything from scratch in Rust. But that's the thing I've learned is like you just gotta show up for long enough, and eventually like you'll just be like, oh, I can do this now. That was how it happened for me, just learning how to program. Okay, final feature here for our guessing game. With one final tweak, we will finish the guessing game. Recall the program is still printing the secret number. Worked well for testing, but it ruins the game. Let's delete it. Oh, that was it. Okay, cool. We were already done. So no more printing the secret number. Let me see myself win one more time though. 87. You win, and then we exit. Okay, cool. No more printing secret number. That is it. First, remove print line that prints the secret number. Awesome. This is great. I can already tell from last, because I tried to learn Rust before about 1.5 years ago. Just remembering from last time, like, I went through this project pretty quick. It's nice that we're doing it slow. Nice and slow here, just like really taking our time on the concepts. This is what I struggle to do with alone, so I mean, this is a great reason to like just rip it on stream. Yeah, here's our final notes for the day. Not too bad. And our current graph, all the little concepts we've talked about here. It's cool. It'd be cool to see this grow over time. Nice. Let's push this. Am I ignoring? I did add a git ignore here, so I should be ignoring any of the target stuff. Get out everything. Session M. Session 2 complete. Push. Nice. Okay. Next, we get into common programming concepts. This one's going to be interesting. I feel like we're not going to be doing much coding. I guess there's some little snippets in here we'll be playing with. In general, I do like the structure of these docs, or the book, I guess. I haven't liked the normal Rust docs I've seen so far, but these are structured pretty nice. There's been some stuff where it's alluding to these, kind of introducing you to concepts and alluding to them in a way that's not helpful, kind of just overwhelming. But I don't know. People say the Rust book is one of the best intro books to a programming language. See, and that's the hype I had heard before, but if you're new to programming and you come into this, I mean, at least for me, a year and a half ago, I wasn't even new to programming a year and a half ago. I had been programming JavaScript and Python for already a year or something like that. And there were so many concepts in here that were way over my head. Just today, we, where do we find that? Yeah, we're talking about passing by reference. And they kind of don't even really explain the concept of passing by reference versus passing by value. I don't think it's intended for new programmers. Well, that's not what they say. That is not what they say. They say it literally in the first forward, new, maybe in the introduction. Especially those new to programming. But anyway. Anyway, that's my rant. In my opinion, after chapter 10 or 12, it starts getting really heavy. Best after that to create a crate. Then have a friend use your crate and get feedback. And then after that, go back through the book. Okay, that's interesting. TBF, almost all of these books go way too far into the technical weeds towards the end. Yeah. It's pretty manageable so far. You said chapter 10 or 12. Error handling, generic types, traits, and lifetimes. Writing automated tests. Introduce concepts that you'll literally never use in the real world. Yeah. This was my, one of my big insights doing, just from my journey of learning programming, and this is what I try and bring to pleb devs, is, I had tried for, a year to learn Python. This is before I'd done any program. And I'd return to Python again and again with these courses that you find in YouTube or Udemy or something like that. And so much of these courses, these Python courses, what they do is they start with the most simple concept in Python, and they walk you through the most simple concept to the most complicated concept in order of an increasing order of complexity. when it's like, that's not how you actually build stuff. And for a long time, I thought I would go through these courses again and again, and eventually it would get like a third of the way through and drop off. And I thought I was just too dumb. But then I realized that like, this is a retarded way of learning. Like, this isn't, really you want, and this is how we did the pleb dev course, you want to, I want to be introduced to the most minimal amount of concepts and then put them into action. And then let me get into the other concepts as I'm, or the more detailed, complex things, as I'm like reaching for this next feature, reaching for how do I do this, and that's the way I like to learn, like very hands-on, project-based. That's why I'm not a fan of Hello World being people's first program. It doesn't do anything. It's too simple. Yeah, I think so. I mean, it didn't feel that fun to do these Hello World programs. Like, what was most interesting in these is actually talking about the environment, talking about the context that you're writing your first line of code in. You make sure your environment's set up. Yeah, at least that. And this was another thing that courses didn't do well, and it eluded me into thinking that programming wasn't for me, was they don't explain the developer environment very much. They don't explain the IDE. You don't feel empowered by your development environment at first. You feel like intimidated by it. And that was one reason, like in the pleb dev course, like I have a whole lesson just talking about developer environments, GitHub. With Nix. Yeah, Nix is the real, that's the real next. That's what I want to get into after Rust, or maybe during. Okay, my challenge to you, think about a fun crate to make and work towards it. Okay. Think about a fun crate to make and work towards it. Man, I don't know. I haven't even made a library in JavaScript before. Only tons of projects. But that is a good idea. Nix, make a nice little Rux Nix shell and share it with you. Okay, that's a pretty cool idea. Yeah. That is a cool idea, though. I should issue that challenge to the pleb devs. Not for Rust, though, but like for when they're writing their first JavaScript code, first Python code. Like write a project, whatever you want to make, and share it with me, and I'll give you feedback. I want to do more stuff like that, like project reviews, but that'd be good for me as well. I don't know. Give me 10 ideas for Rust crates I might build for fun to learn. I'm sure there's like a thousand little things in Bitcoin and Lightning people could be building crates for. Nix lets you create discardable dev shells that you can set in the root of a project, and it will reproduce the environment for anyone that enters the project automatically. Later, Tidwell. Thanks for dropping in, man. Markdown HTML converter, file system watcher. Yeah, these are dumb. These are dumb ideas. ChatGPT. Yeah, I'm gonna get into Nix soon. I want to actually, one of the next things I'm gonna do in a week or so. I have this little bash script I use to set up environments for Haskell and other funny things I like to fuck around with Nix. That's cool. That seems like a great way to like get your foot in the door. Start using Nix. I mean, I've used Nix with Replit, obviously. But that's about it. Yeah. Oh yeah, but one of the next things I want to do, I want So Mutiny is built on Rust. I was talking about them earlier, but they have their Mutiny node, their kind of Lightning node. Here, they built it in Rust, but you can actually import it as a JavaScript package. And so I want to learn how to use this and kind of build a little workshop around using Mutiny node in a web app. For this shit, and tell me my thing is shit. For this thing. Okay. Github.com, itme-brain. That's a good it's a good GitHub username. What is that? IDY? LDY? Pre-configured developer environments powered by Nix. Nice readme. LDV. What does LDV stand for? Lazy dev, lol. Hell yeah. Haskell.nix, Python.nix, Web.nix. Nice. Yeah, dude, this is awesome. BRC. I don't know Bash either. I've written Bash before, but I've never like learned it. Just written it for specific things. Dude, yeah, this is cool. I'll definitely try this out. Let me follow you on GitHub. Nice. What's like the most complicated Bash script you've wrote? Bash RC is like 1,000 lines. I have a ZSH RC right now on my MacBook because I'm totally cucked. I miss Bash though. The Bash script for my prompt. I don't know what that means. Your prompt, your AI prompt? Funny story, I wrote like one of the first Bash scripts I wrote. I was trying to like have it recursively like crawl through all my files. My PS1. What? Thing on the terminal. Oh, okay, I see. Yeah, I wrote a Bash script to like, just like Googling every single command, every single keyword to like recursively go through my file system and find every node modules and delete it. Yeah, I see what you're saying. So I wanted to like, I had all of these projects, with node modules that's taking up room. So I was like, oh, let me write a script to like go through and delete all these node modules folders. And I wrote it and I didn't even really test it. I just kind of let it rip. And it went through my computer and instead of deleting every node modules, it deleted the parent directory of every node modules. So it actually just went through my full file system and deleted every single project I had completely. But luckily I had everything on GitHub, so I was able to pull it down. But that was one of the first times I learned about running code in prod. Nice. Yeah, I've got everyone around around here yelling in my ear about NixOS. We'll spend some more time in it soon. I'm losing my voice here though. It's getting late my time, so I do need to call the stream. But yes, thanks for tuning in. This was super fun session. Got through the project. Feeling bullish on the continued journey with Rust. So yeah, my notes and everything updated is here on GitHub now. So we'll continue next week from here, and I think I'm going to be doing a workshop this weekend, either Friday night or Saturday morning, probably over Keysins. I recently built a little Keysin messaging app in JavaScript, so we're going to be looking at that, kind of showing how to build your own Keysin app. So look forward to that, but yeah, besides that, we're just going to keep moving on over here. So yeah, I'm going to sign out, but thanks again for tuning in, and join next week for part 3 of Learning Rust Live, and I'll see you all next time.